The sun was rising over the endless blue horizon of Raja Ampat. The sea glowed like a sheet of glass, and the sound of waves whispered softly across the white sand. Three friends, Arka, Lani, and Dido, had come from the city to spend their school holiday in this island paradise. Every morning, they would run to the beach barefoot, collecting seashells, skipping stones, and laughing as if the world had no worries. That morning, something strange caught Arka's attention, something glimmering under the sand. "Hey, what's that?" Arka asked, pointing near the waterline. He dug with his hands and pulled out an old glass bottle, sealed with a cork and wrapped in seaweed. Inside, curled tightly, was a piece of old parchment, its edges brown and torn. "Is that a map?" Dido said, his eyes wide. Arka carefully unrolled it. Faded ink showed lines of islands and reefs, and right in the middle, written in neat ancient letters, were the words, "Pulau Rahasia, the secret island." Lani frowned slightly. "I've never heard of that place before. Maybe it's just an old sailor story. Or maybe," Arka said with a grin, "it's real, and it's waiting for us." The three of them sat in the sand, staring at the map. It showed a trail of reefs, then a small island shaped like a crescent moon. No one they asked that day, not the fishermen, not the shopkeepers, had ever heard of such a place. That night, under the soft hum of cicadas, the three friends made a plan. They would set sail at sunrise to find the island. None of them knew what awaited them: danger, magic, or maybe the greatest adventure of their lives. The next morning, the sky was painted with streaks of gold and pink. Arka and Dido helped push an old wooden boat into the shallow water. Lani climbed aboard, holding the map like a treasure. The sea was calm, dotted with tiny islands covered in green forests. As they sailed farther from shore, the air grew quiet except for the sound of waves splashing against the hull. "This feels like a dream," Lani said, brushing her hair from her face. Dido looked around nervously. "Dream or not, I hope this boat knows where it's going." Arka laughed. "Relax, Dido. Just follow the map. See, that's the coral reef shaped like a horseshoe." They continued past bright coral gardens and schools of fish that sparkled like living rainbows beneath the boat. Occasionally, dolphins jumped alongside them, as if guiding their way. Hours passed. The sun climbed higher, and the wind began to shift. Clouds rolled in, dimming the bright turquoise sea. Lani looked down at the map and gasped. "The ink is glowing," she whispered. Indeed, the faint blue lines began to shimmer softly, forming a glowing trail that stretched ahead of their boat. "Whoa," Dido murmured. "Okay, now it's definitely not just an old map." Arka grinned, his eyes bright with excitement. "Then let's follow the light." The sea grew deeper and darker as they followed the glowing trail. It twisted between hidden reefs and mangroves until finally, a heavy fog rolled over the water, wrapping them in silence. The map's light flickered, then dimmed. When the fog began to thin, Lani stood and pointed. "Look, over there." Through the mist, cliffs rose out of the water, tall and covered in vines. Waterfalls cascaded down the rocks, and birds with rainbow-colored feathers flew overhead. "The secret island," Arka whispered. They anchored the boat near the beach and stepped onto the soft white sand. The air smelled of flowers and rain, and the island seemed completely untouched. No footprints, no boats, no houses. As they walked deeper inland, they found huge trees with roots curling across the ground like sleeping dragons. Strange stone carvings peeked out from the vines, faces, wings, and swirling patterns. "It feels alive," Lani said softly, running her fingers along the carvings. They followed the sound of rushing water and found a river that shimmered like glass. Dido knelt to drink, and his reflection rippled, but for a split second, it wasn't his reflection. It was something else, a face, old and smiling. He jumped back, eyes wide. "Did you see that?" he stammered. Arka chuckled, though a chill ran through him. Maybe the island just likes to say hello. They continued walking until they found a wide clearing with a massive stone gate at its center. The gate was covered in carvings of mythical creatures, Garudas, Nagas, and spirits dancing in spirals. There were no handles, no hinges, only a single circular mark glowing faintly in the center. Without hesitation, Lani reached out and placed her hand on it. The moment she did, the carvings began to shimmer. The stone trembled, and slowly, silently, the gate opened. A warm golden light spilled out, bathing them in its glow. The passage led them into a vast underground cavern. Crystals hung from the ceiling like chandeliers, and the walls glowed with blue light. The air was cool, but it carried a hum, like a heartbeat deep in the earth. In the middle of the cave stood a stone altar. On it lay a small wooden chest, covered in dust. "This must be it," Dido whispered. "The treasure." He ran forward and opened the chest, but instead of gold or jewels, inside was only a stone tablet, carved with words in both Old Javanese and English. "True treasure lies not in what you find, but in what you protect." They stared at the message in silence. Lani spoke first. "Maybe this isn't about treasure. Maybe it's about the island itself." Arka nodded slowly. "It's telling us that nature, this place, is the real treasure. And we're meant to protect it, not take from it." As if the island heard them, a gentle breeze swept through the cave, making the crystals glow brighter. The carvings on the walls began to shift, showing images of forests, oceans, and people living in harmony with the land. Then the golden light dimmed, and the cave fell silent again. The three friends stood there, feeling small but peaceful, as if the island had shared its secret and trusted them to keep it. By the time they returned to their boat, the sun was sinking behind the cliffs. The sky was painted in orange and purple, and the sea reflected it like a mirror. They sat quietly, each lost in thought. "So, we didn't find treasure," Dido finally said with a small smile. "Maybe we did," Lani replied. "Just not the kind you can hold." Arka looked back at the island, now glowing faintly in the dusk. "We'll keep it a secret," he said. "This island, the cave, everything. It deserves to stay untouched." Dido nodded. "Our promise, to protect the secret island." As they sailed back, dolphins appeared again, leaping beside their boat, as if celebrating their vow. The sea shimmered with stars, and the wind carried the faint echo of laughter. The island's farewell. When they reached the mainland, no one believed their story. People laughed and said it was just an adventure of imagination. But the three friends knew the truth, that somewhere out there, hidden in the heart of Nusantara, there was an island of light and secrets, waiting quietly, protected by those who had found its message. And sometimes, on calm nights when the moon was full, they swore they could still hear the whisper of the island through the waves, reminding them of the promise they made. To protect what truly matters.